But any cop who can't point to the section of the Highway Traffic Act that removed previously existing rights, but now acts like they no longer exist, he is perverting the course of justice. What were you just saying?
Well, I was just saying that my whole life I really feel I've been taken advantage of by a lot of fraudulent ideas that I owed anybody, any kind of applications to permit, or needed permission from anybody, I should say, to do anything like get married or drive a car or go to school or apply for a job or anything, like apply for benefits.
Well, applying for a job I could see, because it's up to me whether or not I hire you. But when our servants get us to apply for things which we have a right to demand, but then we give up the right to demand by way of application, I see a problem with that. We were just talking about your wife, right?
Yes.
And I asked why you refer to her as your wife when you're, I thought you were divorced, but you told me you're just separated now.
Legally separated, yes.
So when you got married with her and the government.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
How do you feel about that, was the question.
Well, when I found that out that I was in bed with the government as well, and didn't realize it actually, that was the situation, it pissed me off. And then when we broke up, we decided to leave them out of the picture. And we just had an agreement with the two of us to split up. And that's worked out quite well, other than the fact that to get it done, we've got to sign a paper and say we're done and finished. But I cut them out a bit after that.
If you ever got married again, would you do it through the government? Would you invite them into your relationship?
Absolutely not. It would be between me and my significant other.
However many legs they might have.
and any other appendages. Interesting appendages.
Oh, I see, yeah. I should have known. You worked at Ford's.
Yeah, it does affect you in a way.
So this whole situation that you've been going through, since this happened, you were pulled over, what, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
On July 16th, it's about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month now. I don't even know where we are. What's this, August 9th or 10th? Yeah, it's almost a month now.
And in that amount of time, have you learned a lot? Have you been studying?
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Not enough, but I've learned a lot.
And you're going to continue your learnings?
I will continue to learn these things. I'm not giving up on learning these things.
I
smell freedom.
If you ended up going to court and the judge ruled that you had that the cops are right, that you no longer have the common law right to travel, that you are obliged to apply or beg for permission to use your public property, would you just fold?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So even if the judge orders that you were, or if the judge finds that you are bound by this so-called law, you're not the kind of guy who's just going to fold on it.
I think I would want to take it to an even higher, a higher place. I would rather keep working on it because I can smell my freedom. I know that it's there and it's my entitlement.
The summonses, it states that this officer is commanding you to appear in Her Majesty's name. Now, if the Queen of England, and that's presumably who he's referring to, came up and commanded you to lick her boots or, I don't know, do anything, if she commanded you to appear in court, would you feel like you were obliged to accept?
No, I don't think so.
So if that's the case, then how can this cop command you in her name? If you're simply not commandable by Her Majesty, are you commandable in Her Majesty's name?
No, not at all. I don't feel so anyways.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
This is an affidavit, in my own words, of my arrest. I do hereby affirm the following to be true and correct, and to the best of my knowledge and my recollection of everything that happened that day. I am Vincent Paul Beaumier. I was born on January 14th, 1958. I'm a retired auto worker living in Bracebridge, Ontario. I'm the father of 3 successful children who are now adults living peaceful, productive lives. in their community. On the morning of July 16th, 2009, about 9 o'clock in the morning, I was driving down Highway 118 in Bracebridge, and I noticed a police officer following me. He wasn't really behind me. He was in a different lane than I was, but he stayed there long enough. And we went through one traffic light, and we're going a little farther, and about halfway down towards the next traffic light, he switched lanes and got right behind me. And then he turned on his lights on his motorcycle, and we were approaching a traffic light, and so I pulled over towards the shoulder lane. I was in the center lane, and then the light turned red, and I pulled over. The officer had followed me into that lane, and so obviously it was me that he wanted to pull over. You never know, sometimes they might just want to pass you. So he got off of his motorcycle. I was sitting waiting for the traffic light. He came to the door of my Jeep. As he came to the door, I unzipped the screen, or the windscreen on the side door of the Jeep, as it just has a zipper, you know, it just zips around. So when he come to the side of the truck, he said, "You have no license plate on your Jeep." And I said I was aware of that. And then I believe he asked for my driver's license or something to that effect. And I told him I had chosen not to use it anymore. And I also said I was not consenting to being governed by anyone but the creator of the universe, and I consider myself to be a free man on the land, or words to that effect. He asked me a few more questions, if I had proof of insurance, I think, something along those lines. I said I had none. But I also told him that I had a conversation a week before, on July 7th, in Bracebridge with another police officer while I was parked in a city park in another vehicle that I own. And that officer, after talking to him for about 20 minutes or so, that officer being informed of my not having valid license, insurance, or any of those things, let me go in peace. The officer that was stopping me on the Jeep said that he had heard about that, or something to that effect anyways, and he said I didn't realize he said I didn't realize I was talking to the same guy, or words to that effect. I then told the officer, I said, I've chosen to step out of your society, and I consider myself to be a member of a new peaceful society, and wish to live in peace with all others. The officer asked me, he said, "What's the name of that society?" And I said, "It's the Freeman Society." The officer asked me, "What's your address?" I told him it was planet Earth. Not sure he liked that, but it is the truth. That's where I live. I live here on planet Earth. I told him that I didn't recognize his, or the Crown's, or any other government's authority over me, or words something along those lines. Basically informed him of that. And I also told him I was reclaiming all of my God-given rights, every one of them, the rights that we all have as beings here on this earth. And I told him that my father is the owner of this planet. Well, after hearing that, the officer said, "This is my Ontario." And he said, "This is